G'day, Big V fans. We are with our youth champ women here today, and we're going to discuss average, points for, and points against. Now, we're going to mould our two conferences together to create one big one, and we're going to kick it off right at the top because we've got the two second place teams, Altona and Bendigo, our top two offensive rated teams. Altona are sitting with 82.2 points per game, Bendigo at 81. It is very, very close at the top of the margin. Very, very clear as to why they are sitting almost top of their table.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at all these conferences combined, Ted. There's no surprises why these teams are up around the top. Like if you go past the Altonas, the Bendigos, you got Keilor, Melbourne, Kilsyth, and funnily enough, they're probably our 5 strongest teams this season at the moment.
Yeah,
and they're the best offensive teams. They've all got a number of weapons on their team and a number of different options, and they probably play a bit of a faster brand than some of the other teams we've got in the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Altona have Scuberis, who's been killing all year long. Dodemade has been impressive as of late. Bendigo have an onslaught of scorers: Richardson, Cox, Condren, and Smith. You know, like they got so much scoring power, and yes, they do sort of come in and out of this roster, but when they're all there, or when some of them are there, that 80 points is no surprise.
Yeah, and I guess the trainings, they're going up against their NBL 1 senior players as well, who, they're sitting top of the table at NBL 1 level. So what an experience for those young girls to be able to continue and improve on that level and then come out in youth league and star offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at this list as a whole, you sort of see like you said, the best teams are at the top of the ladder. The middle margin is pretty standard. You have teams that are between fourth to sixth. They're sort of hovering around there. But then as you work your way down to these 3 bottom teams, especially with Knox Human and Ballarat, it probably stands to reason as to why we have 2 teams that are placed 8th and 7th, as they're all averaging under 60 points per game.
Yeah, they're unfortunately not able to put winning scores on the board, and where they're going through a bit of a rebuilding phase, it's if you can't score over 60, it's going to be hard to win games.
Absolutely, and all 3 of them, looking like that grading process is something they're going to be, playing in next year, which would be great for, the future of competition, and it maybe might be worthy of them moving down into Youth 1 and getting some better competition.
Well, and that's the thing. If they move down, and they're real positive about the whole qualification day, the idea is that, you go down there, play some of your younger talent for a year, and then they can be ready to shoot straight back up the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving to defense averages, we've obviously got, Ballarat, like we spoke about, averaging 86.6 points per game, something they're definitely struggling with. Hopefully they can make a bit of a turn in the second half of the season. Keilor, who are first in their conference, are 4th with their average points per game. Average points per game, 74.8 points.
Yeah, that's really surprising. Obviously, they're scoring more than they're giving up, the 4-point difference, but shows they're going to be in. They've been having some pretty close games. And they probably, when push comes to shove in finals, Ted, you probably want to tidy up the defensive end a little bit because they're sort of the one which looks out of position for us.
Absolutely. But you can also turn that the other way around. Like, is this a team that is playing in close games consistently, but they just know how to win?
Yeah, good position for the coach to be in, I guess. If you're winning those close ones when finals comes around, that's sort of what you expect come finals time. So. Coach might not be too disappointed or worried about that at all.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely something to address, though, I think. Again, as you look at this list, you work your way down, and it's interesting. You don't really have your first places at the bottom of this ladder. You have Casey and Melbourne, who are both sitting 3rd in their conference, keeping teams to under 60 points. Casey, a pretty country team. We've got a lot of country athletes in that team, so they are aggressive. They're pretty lengthy across the board, so able to probably switch a lot and get defensive rebounds. They're keeping teams to 1 possession, and that might be a reason why they are keeping teams to 57 points per game.
Yeah, and you've got these 2 sides. They were up near the top of the scoring as well, so it seems that they're able to just put some teams away, particularly that Melbourne. The point differential between their offense and defense, 20 points a game.
Yeah, it's huge.
when they're winning, there's no slowing them down.
No, absolutely not. Look, that'll be all for us today, guys. Hope you're all well. We'll speak to you soon.